Good day, farmers. My name is Kuda Mashanda from SeedCo, and I'm here to talk to you about onion farming. In general, once one considers to be planting onion, the planting window is usually from February all the way up to July, with some varieties actually extending the transplanting window all the way up to August. But once a farmer decides to do that, they must be very wary that the onions might actually be intercepted by the rain, which will actually reduce the storage of the onions. If a farmer wants to embark on onion planting, the first thing that they have to consider is obviously the general agronomic practices, the good agronomic practices, which is a soil pH of a range of 5.5 to 6.5, and then obviously his soil type, which will determine whether he can actually plant the onions deeply or has to be planted a little bit shallow, because the soil type actually affects the bulbing of the onion. Because we all know that onions are plants that need to expand in order to create a sellable bulb. Besides the general agronomic practices, when one wants to plant onions, the most important thing that they should be looking at is the variety and the location that they have. Because every onion variety actually reacts differently in terms of location, in terms of altitude, and in terms of temperature. We must know that when we're in Zimbabwe, what we tend to plant are short day onion varieties because of our location and our latitude. Other countries such as South Africa, they've got short day, intermediate day varieties, but our location in Zimbabwe, the most important thing is to plant a short day onion variety. A short day variety is a variety that bulbs once it has intercepted light for about 10 to 12 hours. Once a long day variety actually bulbs, or the bulbing is induced once light interception by the variety is about 14 to 16 hours. So generally, the plant population that we generally talk about is in the range of 600,000 plants to over 1 million plants. The farmer must note that the bulb size is inversely proportional to the population. The higher population that you have, the smaller bulb that you actually get. In Zimbabwe, we tend to like medium-sized onions, which means that we tend to plant a population of the range of 750 to about 850,000 plants per hectare. The plant spacing is actually up to the farmer, because there are many ways of planting onions. As we can see on this plot that we are currently, they're actually planting at a 10 to 10 spacing, 10 by 10 spacing, and then they are actually trying to achieve a population of about 850,000 plants per hectare. Onions are one of the most profitable plants or horticultural plants that one can embark on. In general, for every dollar invested, usually you tend to get $6 back, because of the high plant population, and with an average of about 150 grams for a medium-sized onion, 800,000 plants per hectare can actually give you a yield of up to a range of about 80 tons per hectare. With some actual very good farmers getting use of up to even 90 to 100 tons per hectare. So when one is planting onions, especially at the transplanting stage, they must avoid planting the onions too deep, because that will actually affect or intercept the expansion of the bulbs. When one wants to transplant onions, especially on a seed bed or in the nursery, we must know that 1 hectare of onions actually takes up to 4 kgs of seed. So if you want to plant 1 hectare of onions, you must purchase 4 kgs of seed, because 1 kg is actually equivalent to 250,000 seeds of onions. The most important thing about variety selection, as I mentioned before, is that if you get most of the open pollinated varieties, they do not store as well as the hybrid varieties. Open pollinated varieties usually give you a storage people of 1 to 1.5 months, but with hybrid varieties in general, some varieties can give you storage of up to 3 and even up to 5 months. So what that does is that the hybrid varieties actually give the farmer the option to sell the onions whenever they are ready, and they are not particularly forced, like most horticultural crops, to sell when the crop is actually ripe. Onions can either be sold once they're green, or they can actually be left and then dried and then windrowed in the field and then stored for about 5 months, and they can be sold over a long period of time. Thank you, farmers, for your time. We'll see you again after 60 days at this same plot, after our crop has developed a little bit.